What if I told you that on a Sunday night in Tennessee, Shane Van Gisbergen unlocked something that no road course ringer has ever cracked in the modern Cup era, and almost nobody noticed? Mate, here's the shocking part. For 2 years, the experts told you the same thing. SVG is a road course assassin who'll never ever win on a 1.5-mile oval. Flat out can't happen. The kid's a turn left and right specialist in a turn left only world. And then Nashville happened. He started 10th, he led 12 laps, a personal oval record, and he crossed the line in 5th, beating Chase Elliott by 1/1000th of a second, his first ever top 5 on an oval. But here's where it gets interesting. The result isn't the story, the setup is the story. Because buried in his post-race radio chatter was one tiny technical confession that tells us exactly how this number doll 97 team is about to ambush Hendrick Motorsports, and I'm saving that specific tweak, the actual secret, for the very end of this video. Stick around because once you hear it, you'll see every upcoming race differently. Let's decode it. First, let's be honest about where this bloke came from because it makes what just happened even more bloody brilliant. When SVG rocked up to NASCAR, the ovals were a nightmare. Through his first 12 oval races of 2025, his average finish was 27.5. 27.5, that's not developing driver, that's lap traffic. The problem was never bravery. The problem was feel. On a road course, you brake in a straight line, you load the car progressively, you've got reference points everywhere. On a high-banked concrete mile and a half, like Nashville, the car is sliding, the grip is changing every single lap, and you've got about 0.4 of a second to decide whether you're committed or you're in the wall. SVG said it himself at Dover earlier this year. His biggest issue? Getting up to speed quickly off the hauler. He'd nail the feel after a handful of laps, but by then his tires were cooked. He was always playing catch-up, so the doubters had a point. Right up until the data started moving. Fast forward to 2026, same tracks, same slate. His average oval finish jumped from 27.5 to 19.25. That's an 8-position leap. And across his last 25 oval starts versus his first 25, nearly 6 positions better, more laps led, fewer DNFs. This wasn't luck. This was engineering catching up to talent. Now look at the telemetry of what actually happened at Nashville, because this is where crew chief Stephen Doran earned his paycheck. Here's the first "wait, there's more" moment. Both of SVG's teammates, Ross Chastain and rookie Connor Zilisch, got eliminated in stage 1 with exploded brake rotors. Gone. And SVG got on the radio, genuinely worried he was next. The team's answer? Your brake package and setup are different than your teammates. Read that again. Same cars, same shop, same manufacturer, but the number 97 was running a fundamentally different brake and corner entry philosophy. And it survived a 750 horsepower package that produced 10 DNFs, more attrition than Daytona or Talladega. That's not a coincidence. That's a setup direction. So what's the actual mechanical story? It comes down to corner entry speed and aero-balance. For SVG's whole oval career, his weakness was turns 1 and 2, the fast committed entry where you have to trust the car to rotate without snapping loose. After Nashville, he said something he's never said before. I learned to be comfortable moving around in turns 1 and 2, which I've never been able to do before. That phrase, moving around, is the whole ball game. It means the car finally had enough rotation on corner entry, balanced against rear stability, that he could run multiple grooves instead of being locked to one line. That's a rear toe and camber conversation. Dial in slightly more aggressive rear toe and you get rotation on entry. Get the camber right and the tire stays planted through the load. Get it wrong and you get exactly what Chastain and Zilisch got: a car that overworks the right front and the brakes until something lets go. The 97 found the window, the other two didn't. But here's the part that should genuinely worry the big teams. The most telling thing SVG said wasn't about the brakes at all. It was about tire strategy. We got the balance better on the 2-tire strategy. When we were on a 4-tire strategy, we were lacking that. Decode that, mate. A car that's better on 2 tires than 4 is a car with a fundamentally sound aero balance, one that doesn't lean on fresh rubber to mask a handling problem. That's a setup that gets better deep into a run, and on these mile-and-a-halves, late race 2-tire calls win races. That's how he held off Elliott on a 4-lap dash with older tires. Quick pause, because this is exactly the kind of thing the mainstream coverage skips right over. They'll show you the photo finish and move on. They won't tell you why the car worked, what it threatens, or what it means 3 races from now. That's the entire reason this channel exists. If you want to be the smartest NASCAR fan in the room, the one explaining the engineering at the watch party while everyone else is just yelling, hit subscribe and join the Nation Decoded family. We do the homework so you don't have to. Right back to it. Here's your second "there's more" moment, and it's a big one. While SVG is climbing, his own teammates are sinking. Chastain, a championship 4 driver in 2022, has fallen to the mid-20s in points with one top 5 all year. Zilisch, the rookie phenom, is sitting next to last among full-timers, so think about what that means. SVG is now consistently the best Trackhouse car at ovals. At Nashville, he started 25 spots ahead of his next closest teammate. He's beating 5-time oval winner Chastain at Chastain's own specialty. And here's the threat to Hendrick. Trackhouse runs Chevrolet Power, same engines, same Alliance umbrella as the Hendrick juggernaut. And when a road course ace suddenly has a Chevy that's stable on entry, strong on 2 tires, and survives the most brutal package of the year, that's not a feel-good underdog story anymore. That's a legitimate dark horse who can steal a win on a day when Larson or Byron stumble. Chastain sees it. He said it plainly. He's just learned he's a racer. He puts the tire to the limit, and he's finding that limit. Steven's giving him the cars he needs. He pushes the gas. When your own teammate, a guy you're beating, admits you've cracked the code, that's the realest endorsement in the garage. Now, this is where the racing meets the politics, because if SVG keeps trending like this, Trackhouse has a problem most teams would kill for and a decision they can't dodge. Think about it. A 7-time Cup race winner, the undisputed best road racer on the grid, and now an improving oval driver who's outperforming everyone else in the building. That combination doesn't stay quiet. The big teams, the ones with championship caliber oval programs, notice when a generational talent suddenly becomes a complete driver. For now, SVG's loyalty to Trackhouse is genuine. He loves the series and he loves the team that took the swing on him when nobody else would, but loyalty in this sport has an expiry date, and it's stamped in wins. Every oval top 5 he scores raises his value and raises the question of whether Trackhouse can build him a consistent championship car or whether someone with deeper resources comes calling. The Nashville setup isn't just a result. It's leverage. It changes who SVG is in the marketplace, and it puts pressure on Trackhouse to make sure the thing they built isn't the thing that gets poached. All right, I promised you the secret tweak at the start. Here it is. Everyone's looking at the brakes, the horsepower, the photo finish. But the real unlock, the thing the 97 team quietly nailed, is corner entry rotation without sacrificing rear stability. That's the holy grail on a 1.5 miles, and it's the exact thing road course drivers historically can't get comfortable with. They achieved it by going a different direction than both teammates, a setup philosophy built around rear toe and aero balance that lets the car rotate on entry into turns 1 and 2. So SVG can finally move around, run the high line, the low line, and pick his groove like he's on a road course. That's why he was the only Trackhouse car standing. That's why he was better on 2 tires than 4. And that's why the next time you see him roll into a 1.5-mile track, you should not be surprised if he's leading. This wasn't SVG adapting to the oval. This was the oval setup finally adapting to SVG. And once a team finds that window, mate, they don't lose it. His first oval win isn't a fantasy anymore. It's a countdown. So here's my question for you, and I genuinely want your answer. Do you reckon Shane Van Gisbergen wins on a 1.5-mile oval before the season's out? If you believe it, if you think the Aussie Kiwi is about to shock the establishment, drop the word oval in the comments right now. Let's see how many true believers are in the nation. And if this breakdown gave you something the mainstream coverage didn't, That's the whole point. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one where we decode the next secret before anyone else does. Until then, keep it flat out.